Okay, so this is the second part. We already had the markers, and what I did, I got all the color pencils, and as you know, you can pick your own colors. And what I'm going to do now is to start adding, different lines just to create a little bit more contrast and kind of finishing up, and cleaning up a little bit. At the end, for the final cleaning, I'm going to use, in some places where it applies, my straight edge, and I'm going to use a fine or a medium art pen. So leaving that on the side, what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to concentrate for the matter of timing in one area. So I'm just going to concentrate in there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up a darker and a reddish brown. And remember, this is cherry, so that's for the colors. And I'm just going to apply in certain areas a little bit. Okay, not changing direction. Be careful, don't start like this and like that, just keep it vertical. And then with this one, I'm just going to pick up a few of the areas, and I'm going to add a little bit more reddish color. Now, let me do the other one really fast. I'm going to add a little bit here, and maybe a little bit there. If the light is hitting from here, maybe right there, and maybe here. I'll decide that in a little while. And this part here. This is gonna flatten a little bit when I add the grain. Right now I'm just making like a difference between this door and that door, this door and that door. And I start cleaning up the forms, a little bit the lines. Now, I have another one, but you don't have to, just not to sharpen this one, but this one should be very sharp when you're gonna do the wood grain. So in this case, I'm just gonna go like this, like that. Remember, you're gonna try to have a sample so you know how this particular grain and color is. Not too much. And some of them, they barely have any grains, so it all depends the look you want to achieve. Try not to make it so it looks almost like a pattern, okay? If it's just break it up. Now you can even take advantage of the stains that you had, in this one, on this one. Remember, it's a very fast render, just to give them the idea of how the colors are going to look in the interior. Okay, now let me just finish a little bit there. I'm gonna add a little bit here. Remember, this is where I finish, there. Change it to another tone. Right under is probably where you're gonna get a little bit of the shades, you know, the separation between this and that. Maybe a little bit here. Kind of define the object by highlighting and creating that, you know, different tones. Because it's actually just an elevation. Let me add a little bit here. Now let me do part of the fridge. And here I want to create that difference between this and that, so I just go a little, you know, stronger. I mix it, and then here I'm gonna do the same. Here I can clean up too, and of course I'm gonna cast shadow. You know, if the cabinet is coming out about 2 or 3 inches, it's gonna have a little line in there. Now I can probably just mark with the color pencil and clean up. You see how that smears in there? So try to clean up that there. I'm not gonna go all the way around because this is the color pencil, and the only thing I'm trying is just to create there. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the fridge. And for the fridge, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the gray, and I'm going to soften some of the areas. Okay, just gonna soften a little bit. And also I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow. There's some, you know, of this color. Gotta be very careful not to create a pattern, just a reflection. And here is the edge, so I'm going to go a little bit darker, and I'm going to emphasize blend it. Okay, now you know this the freezer in 2 doors, so I'm going to do a little bit of this in here. I'm going to start with the light one, and I'm going to do the freezer. Okay, so now I break the line, you know, the white spaces. Finally I break it, but when it's a reflection, it is one, pretty much one line when you do it with the marker. I'm going to soften. Keep it vertical every time you can. Keep it vertical. Okay. Now I can pick up this corner, kind of marker a little bit more. That one. I can pick up this corner. And this corner here. Okay. Now I can do the same, you know, with the stove. I don't know how we're doing on time, so I should just, you know, wrap it up. I'm going to finish up this area right here with a pen, and I'm going to pick the fine. Let me get the pencils out. And, oh, let me see. I should have added some of this green also. And here we didn't have any of these speckles, you know, how this material was, but if I have a few minutes at the end. The fine one. So now I'm going to finish the fridge. Make sure the straight edge is not touching the surface, otherwise it's gonna smear under. I'm going to skip that go, okay? I'm going to go down here and skip, go, and clean. Now cleaning that edge in there, I'm gonna clean this line in here, okay? Now I'm going to fill in this part in here. I try not to make a straight line, but I skip a little bit just to add, you know, the casualty into it. I'm going to mark one side of the handle. Careful not to make them too thick. And leaving one side without the line, it looks like the light, you know, makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. Be careful not to smear. Always wait until it dries. Okay, so I finished right there the fridge, and I'm going to finish this cabinet here. Again, don't go, you know, completely. Even sometimes don't even have a line. Okay, and let me see. I'm just going to highlight. I'm gonna do the same here. When you do this on your marker paper, remember this is the first time you're doing the lines, so you have more freedom to pick the ones you want to emphasize and the ones you don't. Okay, right now I'm just going with there. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of the pastels just to soften certain areas. So here I can have and probably here. Okay, so I will finish up, you know, as I said, I just finished up this little part right here. And you have to, you know, just emphasize in one area. It will look much better when all the areas are finished. But just be careful not to overwork, okay? Let me add some of this here. I could add a texture now on the back, like we did it in the class. So right now, you know, just to gain some time. And just by doing this, you will see that immediately it acquires a different, you know, tone. There.